A struggling aquarium plant is not a dead aquarium plant. Most of the plants people rip out and throw away were a few weeks from recovering. In this video, I'm showing you 5 common aquarium plants in rough shape, exactly what the damage tells you, and what real recovery looks like, so you know when to wait and when to act. Because the difference between a plant that's dying and a plant that's adjusting is everything. First up, the Amazon sword. This one is struggling and you can see it right away. Yellowing leaves, transparent patches, and weak, floppy outer leaves. Here's what that damage is telling you. Swords are heavy root feeders, and yellowing like this almost always means the roots are starving. The old outer leaves are also often the ones the plant grew out of water at the farm, and those were never going to survive long-term anyway. Push a few root tabs into the substrate near the base, trim the worst leaves, and then watch the center of the plant. That's where the story is. Clean, solid green leaves rising from the crown mean the roots are fed and the plant has turned the corner. The old damage never heals. The new growth replaces it. Give a sword 6 to 8 weeks with fed roots and it becomes a completely different plant. Next, Java fern. When it struggles, you get ragged tips, thin growth, and damaged older leaves that look chewed up and tired. The damage here usually comes down to one thing, the rhizome. That thick horizontal stem the leaves grow from has to stay exposed. Bury it in the substrate and the whole plant slowly falls apart. Attach it to wood or rock instead and let it feed from the water. And remember, a damaged fern leaf will never repair itself. Judge the plant by its rhizome. If it's firm and green and pushing out fresh fronds, you're watching recovery happen, no matter how rough the old leaves look. Trim the worst fronds at the base and let the plant put its energy into the new ones. Third, Anubias. Struggling Anubias shows yellow leaves, dark crispy edges, and slow, weak growth. This is one of the slowest growing plants in the hobby, which means damage shows up slowly and recovery shows up slowly too. Yellowing and dark edges often point to too much direct light or a nutrient issue, and like Java fern, Anubias grows from a rhizome that must never be buried. Check that rhizome. If it's firm, the plant is alive and worth keeping. Firm leaves and new shoots emerging from the rhizome are your proof that it's sound underneath, even while the old leaves fade out. With Anubias, patience isn't optional. One new leaf a month is normal, and it's still a win. Fourth, Vallisneria. When Val struggles, you see brown ribbons, transparent tissue, and broken tips all through the tank. Val is famous for melting after transplant. It drops most of its old leaves while the roots settle in, and it can look absolutely terrible for weeks. It's also sensitive to liquid carbon products, which can melt it fast. The mistake here is pulling it out too early. Leave the roots alone, keep conditions stable, and watch the substrate. New runners spreading out with clean, bright ribbon leaves are the recovery signal. Once Val decides it's happy, it doesn't just recover, it takes over. Plenty of people end up trimming Val back instead of trying to save it. And fifth, dwarf hairgrass. A struggling carpet shows brown blades, bare patches, and weak, thin tufts scattered across the substrate. This is the transition phase almost every hairgrass carpet goes through. The blades it arrived with often brown off and die, while the plant puts its energy into roots and runners underneath. What it needs from you is strong light reaching the substrate, nutrients, and patience. Then look for the real sign. Even, green runners spreading between the tufts and filling the gaps. That's the carpet taking hold, and once it does, it thickens fast into that solid green lawn. Trimming it short early on also pushes it to spread sideways instead of growing tall. So here's the pattern across all 5 plants. Old damage never repairs itself, and that's fine. What matters is new growth. Stable conditions, correct planting and patience, and then watch for fresh leaves, fresh fronds, and fresh runners. Healthy new growth tells the story that old damage never can. If this helped you save a plant you were about to toss, subscribe, because there's a lot more planted tank content on the way. And drop a comment telling me which of these 5 gave you the most trouble. I'll see you in the next one.